I've got my entire sled, at least the upper portion, that contains this beautiful hypertufa pot and this plastic pot with sweetgrass, all in the frame. Before I discuss Urtica dioica, I'm going to tell you an ironic little story. We, we had a group of 3 women that came in and greet them when they pull in their cars, explain this and that, and then they go to a signboard with a map and we explain kind of the layout of the place, the facility, and then also go over certain rules that we have, like don't trample in our forbidden zone, the protected area, and why, and various and sundry other things. Well, when they came rolling in, I told my employee, it's like, I'm going to go over the signboard with them because I just had this feeling that they're going to want to like run into the protected area. Some time lapsed, and some people that were on the observation platform called up because we've got our phone number to the office at various points, the pond, the beach steps, and the observation platform, saying if you see anybody doing something they shouldn't, call us. Get this call. Dark shirt, pink jacket, Monnet went rolling down pretty fast on Black Lightning, my beach cruiser, the Thornswift assault vehicle. And I catch the woman after she came back into the public area picking flowers. And I'm like, excuse me, but when you come in here, I need to be assured that you're gonna respect our preserve by, first of all, not picking flowers, and then staying out of the protected area, because if everyone did that, the place would just be like trashed. It would not have the physical integrity that it does, because the vast majority of people respect what we're doing and they don't do stuff like you're doing. And she's holding her bouquet of flowers. And I said, you need to throw those in the weeds right now. You are not walking out with them. Reluctant to do it, so she walked over begrudgingly and started making this little rock and flower shrine. I said, what are you doing? And she's like, I'm making a shrine. And I said, no. Can you imagine if I was to allow you to make this shrine with those picked flowers? Every kid that comes down here is going to do the same thing. There's going to be no wildflowers along the beach, and there's going to be all these little shrines. I say, throw them. And she did. I look over and her friend, armload of rocks. I'm like, this is a preserve. Whatever it sounds like. You know, you cannot take anything from this place. This isn't about taking. Still holding the rocks. I said, throw the rocks down. Throw the rocks down. She threw them down. And I said, if you are going to return to this preserve, I need to be assured that you're going to respect our wishes and not take anything and not cross that boundary. Well, we're not coming back here again. Fine. I wait a little while down with the other customers. They're like, can you imagine those people? All the other guests down there were just like wondering what the heck they were thinking about. And this little boy walked up to me with a piece of limestone that was a fossil. It had coral in it. And he goes, can I take this? And the parents were like, no, you can't take anything. And I told the little kid, I'll tell you what, carry this up to the nature center. I'm going to write your initials on it in the year 2018. And we're going to put it on the touch table so everyone can see what a good museum gatherer you are. That made the kid happy. Okay, fast forward. The 3 women are in the nature center enjoying it. I walk in there and I explain to them, you know, I need to know, if I'm going to allow you to return to this preserve, I need to know that you understand that we all share a part in protecting this place. That means you're not going to be picking flowers, you're not going to be gathering anything, and you're not going to be crossing into the protected area. And the woman apologized profusely, which that's what I wanted to hear. And she said, I'm an artist, I just wanted to enjoy the vistas. And I said, everyone has the same rights. If everyone wanted to enjoy the vistas and they wandered into our protected area, the 10,000 visitors a year, plus or minus, it would be destroyed. And she said, well, I'm so sorry, it's not going to happen again. And then the 3 witnessed a little boy with his rock writing the thing. And his little brother Not that it matters, but they adopted him. He was from Russia originally. He goes, I don't have a rock. And the one woman who was gathering rocks went outside to the edge of the nature center, found a nice little rock and gave it to him, and I wrote his initials and the date on it. Everyone was happy. And so it all worked out. It's not a high Labor Day, heavy Labor Day. It's not a high volume day. It's actually been pretty quiet. But I feel pretty good because it was actually kind of what I consider like a high skill day as far as people handling. So here we go. The thrust. Thrust number 2 of today's adventure in thorn swifting. I had this pot, Hypertufa. It was just languishing. It was forgotten. It was in the backyard. And it contained quite a bit of sweetgrass. I just planted it in here one time and just forgot about it. I have some visitors, repeat visitors, that wanted to know if they could have some sweetgrass so they could start their thing. So it's great. I sorted through this pot, cleaned and removed the sweetgrass, which it's a grass so it's tough, but I've got like wet newspapers, so you loosen the soil, you pick it up, you gather it so all the green stuff is down here and the roots are down here, and you just lay it in wet newspapers. This is a good way of transplanting stuff. Keep the roots damp until you get around to potting them. Had it all sorted, all ready to go. So I created my soil. It likes well-drained soil, but rich soil. And put it down there, laid the roots in there, and not tight, but then drizzled soil over it so they were separate in the pot, not just all bunched together. Then add some more potting soil at the top. It's actually kind of a mixture of sand and a sandy loam and some potting soil just for some nutrition. Almost up to the top, and then finished off at the top, just like the A, B, and C horizons, at the top organic, potting soil, organic enough. Water it down. The key, when you're transplanting many plants, is you notice it's shady down here? That stuff needs to be shady until it acclimates, gets over the transplant shock. And basically, I'm going to tell them, just leave it in the pot. Just leave it in the pot, take care of it until it's root bound, until it gets full and vigorous and root bound. And then plant it next year. Create your space, sunny area, an area where you're willing to water often enough, because you don't want it to dry out. It likes to be wet, but it doesn't like to have wet feet. Think about it. Then you can split it. You can cut it with your spade that has that little jaggedy edge. Split it, put it in your sweetgrass patch. You're good to go. So I had this pot. I had planted seeds. Urtica dioica, or dioica, pardon me, the Latin names trip me up. Dioica. Stinging nettle, common nettle. Beautiful stuff. I had seeded it in an area that's a little too dry. I thought it would be damper than it was. It's a droughty air. But still, it managed to sprout, and they have good root masses. Urtica, or Urtica dioica, forms a root mat. And from that you can split it. It'll shoot from the roots. Blah, blah, blah. Very rich soil I created in here. I'm going to baby it. I'm going to allow it to spread, to get vigorous, to get healthy, to fill in. And then I am going to plant it in an area. I'm going to remove a lot of wild mint and peppermint. It's in a sunny area that's very damp. It's a very damp, rich area. And establish my stinging nettle, or common nettle. You're saying, why do I want to have common nettle? If I touch it, which I did a few times, it's kind of cool. It stings, but then it fades. Stinging nettle is a miracle plant. Before I continue, I'm going to say dioica, Latin for two houses, refers to the fact that there are male plants and female plants. Two houses, dioica, Urtica dioica. It's a miracle plant. This stuff is loaded with protein, eminently edible. Vitamins and minerals up the wazoo. That is a technical term. So from a nutritional standpoint, it's amazing. It's also amazing from a medicinal standpoint. I'm going to encourage you, because I would have to write it down, because, you know, I'm not in this mind space where I can repeat, you know, these 50 things that it contains, these beautiful compounds, the nutritional value, what it can do, but I will shock you and amaze you when I say that one of the things that this does, pain relief, extremely anti-inflammatory. It's used to treat the effects of rheumatism, you know, as far as pain relief. Some people say you can swat yourself on the head for it and it invigorates your hair follicles so it'll grow thicker hair. I'm not going to try it. I think that personally I'd go bald before I started whipping my head with stinging nettle. But my left hand is very sore, tendonitis, you know, from instrument playing and stuff, but, you know, stinging it, and I actually felt some relief from it. Protein, vitamins and minerals, calcium, vitamin K, which you don't find in a lot of plants. I don't know what that does for you, but it's got vitamin K. Probably vitamin C too. Vitamin all over the place. And anti-inflammatory and pain relief. It's actually a fun plant. It beats the heck out of poison ivy because poison ivy can like be itchy and uncomfortable for a couple weeks, but this stuff, 15 minutes, fades away. It's also in the shade with this stuff, reducing transplant shock. If you don't get anything out of this, get the fact that if you're transplanting plants, especially when they're vigorous, this is August, and not waiting till the fall or catching them in early spring before they start shooting up, you want to reduce transplant shock. Some plants don't care. You know, the coneflowers, you can just pull them out of the ground. Throw them in their new bed, they're fine. That wild lettuce, Latuca cereola that I planted in the Planago lanceolata, the ribbed leaf plantain, no transplant shock, tough plants. But these are showing some wilty signs. They're going to be fine here in the shade. After a few days in the shade, I'm going to put them in a spot where they can get a few hours of sunlight and then increase that until it's full sun. Same with the Sweetgrass. This should get a full recovery, grading in the full sunlight for a week. That is that. I didn't mention that this is bear medicine, but people use the leaves to make tea for pain relief. That's one thing. The roots. I'm not as much rooty because I don't like pulling up plants, especially if I don't have a lot. I'd go for the leaves. But look up. This is your homework. Googleize, internet, interweb, the benefits, the health benefits of common nettle, stinging nettle. If you want to get fancy, urtica, it's U-R-T, even though it's pronounced Utica. Dioica, D-I-O-C, Ica. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. Now I have to be accessible because who knows what's going to happen here. I need to be able to hop on Black Lightning and buzz down to the beach in a matter of seconds to prevent damage, injury, mayhem.